Hey guys, welcome back to Tracy's Local Learnings and welcome back to the Zen Den. Today I want to talk some more about mushrooms as we are jumping into learning all about this, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So there's a lot to know about mushrooms and different types of mushrooms. And the most important thing that I really want to get through to you guys is research. There is no better information on the planet than your eyes seeing what you're doing. There's a lot of people that can learn through books, but until you really touch it, you're not going to learn about something that's living and growing. So we're going to get back into research. Now, when I was telling you guys in the first part one, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I'm going to be starting a playlist on this. Is the research that you see when you go out into the forest and you come across a mushroom. Now, things that you're looking for is you're looking for what else is growing around there. What trees are growing around there. Now, this is where the research can kind of branch off, but it's things that you can learn now at the beginning of learning about mushrooms that will benefit you for years to come and make it easier for you to identify fungus. So one of the most important things is what trees are growing around you. If it's a tree, if it's a fungus, growing on a tree, what kind of tree is it? So that leads down the road to learning your trees. So if it's in the springtime, you can learn your trees from the bark, from the buds. Then the summer, you learn about the leaves. And in the fall, you'll see what leaves are on the ground. Now, again, it's just going to make it easier. So when you're walking through the forest, if you see, say, a birch tree, you know that you're going to find birch polypore, which is a wonderful medicinal and has many, many uses. You're going to find horsehoof mushroom. Horsehoof mushroom has a lot of history on it, and I'll talk about it one day. But like I said, once you identify the trees, you're going to know what mushrooms grow on what trees. So say if you live near a certain type of tree, do the research and learn your trees in your area first, or at the same time that you're learning about mushrooms. But it's going to make a huge difference on your acknowledgement of what mushrooms to look for when you see what trees. So that's a big, big thing. And again, the leaves, like in the fall, it's kind of hard to find mushrooms because they're under the leaves. But again, if you know what leaves are for the trees, you'll know what mushrooms grow in those areas, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. Okay, so other things that I wanted to talk about, are we talked about polypore mushrooms and guild mushrooms the last time I did my video, my part one. So the polypore, this is a bad example. This polypore mushroom is old. It's not fresh. When polypore mushrooms are fresh, this is going to be white. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful white, and the pores are going to be crystal clear and easy to see. Right now, this one, it's old. It's kind of browning. You can't really see the pores on it very well. And this one is a guild mushroom. Now, I want you to see the difference. There's many different guild mushrooms. Do you see how this one, the gills stop at the stipe, at the stem? There's no gills coming down the stem. Now this other one, oops, I got some tissue on there. This other one that I found, look at how hang on here. Glasses on, glasses off, hang on. Gotta make sure you guys can see this. Do you see how it doesn't stop like this one? It doesn't stop. It comes down part of the stipe. Again, this is an old mushroom, so it's not a great one to show you guys, but you get the idea of the gills start to actually come down the stipe on this one. And that's what leads me to believe that it's a chanterelle mushroom, because they grow like kind of like a cone. So there is a ton of different mushrooms out there. When you guys get into it, like the turkey tail mushroom is by far the best and easiest mushroom for your first mushroom. The reason for that is it doesn't have any toxic lookalikes. Now, the turkey tail mushroom has one lookalike, and it's called a false turkey tail. Now, I'm going to tell you guys the difference between a turkey tail and a false turkey tail. I wish I would have brought mine out. They're in my apothecary, and it's a hot mess. So, but I do have videos on turkey tail mushrooms if you guys want to see them. And I do show you what a false turkey tail mushroom looks like in that video. And I believe it's the first part of the turkey tail mushroom video. So, when you're researching mushrooms, you want to first and foremost, once you identify the mushroom, you want to find out, you want to research, is there any lookalikes? Now, not necessarily go for, is there toxic lookalikes, but is there lookalikes in general? Because that's something else that you want in your brain. So when you come across the mushroom, you're going to know how to identify the difference. So a false turkey tail is always going to be tans and brown colors. It's also going to be very smooth to touch. Now, it is going to have the polypores on the bottom, just like the turkey tail. However, it's not toxic. It can be used. It has probably some of the same properties, nothing that is detrimental to us. So it's okay. That's what I'm saying. It's a great first mushroom. Now, the actual turkey tail mushroom, the difference is when you find it, it's going to have those same lines like a rainbow, but it's going to be fuzzy. You'll actually be able to feel and see the fuzzy texture to it. The other thing about the turkey tail is there's going to be an edge on it, just like this one. It's going to have an edge, but see, this one's kind of cream colored because it's old. But on the turkey tail, it's going to be white, and underneath it's going to be white. Now, it can be a slightly creamy color, but traditionally it's white. Now, the colors in the turkey tail mushroom you can find blues and purples and reds and all sorts of colors. So, again, if you find it and it's a bracket, it's got the polypores, it's got the lines, and it's got the fuzzy bits, and the actual outer edge is going to be white, the same as the bottom. That's a turkey tail mushroom. Now, traditionally when you find them, they're going to be in clusters, like it'll be a whole stump or a whole tree just covered in them. Now, when I say trees, I don't only mean standing trees, but I mean ones falling over. Normally, mushrooms will really take over on trees that have fallen over, because that's how they kind of take over the tree, right? They inoculate it with their mycelium, and they take over the tree, which can sometimes be a detriment to the tree. Most of the time, trees will have some sort of fungus growing on them, but won't really fully develop until they fall over. Now, I was saying that there's lots of different mushrooms. So there's veiled mushrooms with the little veil on them. There's ones with gills. There's ones with polypores. There's ones that the gills come down the stipe. There's ones that they stop, like this one where it just totally stops right there and that's it. So if I break this off, hang on here, it doesn't want to come off. See? And then you can see there's no lines on the stipe, right? This lighting is really poopy. But yeah, where on this one, right there, you can see, I hope, the lines come down the stipe, right? So those are all really good identifying features. Now there's also something called chaga. So I have been doing this mushroom hunting for quite a few years now, and I have not found chaga yet, but I want to find it with you guys. Now, chaga is an amazing fungus, and it grows on birch trees as well. I can't remember what other trees it grows on, but I know it grows on birch. And when you see it, it will look like a big charred or burnt mass on the side of the tree. It'll kind of grow off in this big, it looks like burnt wood. but it's not. And when you, one of the identifying features for chaga is when you break a piece off, it will be gold inside, gold, like yellowy gold, beautiful. And it is an immune boosting powerhouse. It has a lot of other properties as well, but it's mostly known for the immune system. So this is my part 2. I'm kind of trying to figure out where to go with this. I want you guys to really understand how once you get into doing research, when you're looking for different mushrooms and stuff, read in the comments sections. If you're like on a YouTube channel, read in the comments, because that's where you're going to find other people that have experiences with different mushrooms, or they'll maybe mention a different mushroom, or they'll say it grows in your area, you know, and you'll look in the comments, oh my god, this guy lives in British Columbia and he's finding chicken of the woods or whatever, right? And you'll learn, and then that way, when you go to do your research, you can look for those mushrooms, like, you know, how to identify chicken of the woods, or how to identify chaga, or whatever. And then, again, back to your tree research, the more you learn about the trees, it kind of speaks on the environment that those trees grow in, right? So again, you're going to be able to do your research in many different ways, right? You can start with what grows near birch trees, or what grows on birch trees, or stuff like that. So I hope you guys are getting interested about this. I hope you're getting intrigued to learn all about mushrooms. Now, I'm personally, I got some lion's mane mushroom, and I got some mycelium. Now, excuse me, hang on. Lion's mane mushroom likes to grow near maples. So as you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, we're pretty much surrounded by maple trees here. So I did plant some mycelium near to the base of one of my maple trees, and I'm really hoping in the spring I get something so I can show you guys. Now, it might not work because, you know, nature's nature, but there's a chance, right? And I'm willing to take that chance. Now, a lot of these mushrooms, once you learn about them, even if you don't want to go out and wild harvest, you can buy the mycelium and you can get pieces of logs, again, knowing what tree, what mushroom grows in, and you buy, they're kind of like inoculation plugs you can buy online. So you would take, say, a piece of birch, and you would drill holes all through it, you know, just small holes to put a plug in. And then when your plugs come in the mail, you put them in those holes and you kind of pound them down, and then you just keep watering them until the mushrooms start to grow. You can do that with oyster mushrooms. You can do that with shiitakes. Well, I'm not sure about shiitakes actually, but there's a lot of different mushrooms that you can grow by yourself at home. Now, there's other ways that you can grow mushrooms. You can do them in like bags of what do they call that? Different substance that they grow in, right? So you can, again, that's if you get into it and you want to grow these own mushrooms yourself. You can grow lion's mane. You can grow all sorts of mushrooms. So let me see. I was trying to keep this short. 13. Okay, so this is part 2. I really want to get into some comments down below. I really want you guys to tell me if any of this is interesting to you. If there's any mushrooms that you're interested in learning about. I am going to be going to a mushroom grower probably in the next couple weeks, and I'm going to see if they'll let me do a little video in there to show you guys some different mushrooms. But again, the best way to learn is get out to your grocery store and look at them. And then from that, once you meet the mushroom, wherever you meet it, do your research, figure out if it's something that you want to include into your regular cooking, or into your medicinal tea blends, or making tinctures, or so many other things. With the lion's mane mushroom, I make tinctures. Again, it's really, really good for brain health and cognition. So I like to add a couple drops of lion's mane tincture into my coffee every morning. Now, it is alcohol, yeah. but it's drops, not shots, right? With tinctures. So it's a very, very small amount. Now, there are other ways to make tinctures, none of which I practice. However, you can use a food-based, food-grade glycerin, I believe, to make tinctures. And you can also make tinctures in apple cider vinegar. So those are some other options if you're looking at different ways of making tinctures. I like to do the tincture in alcohol because, like I said, I use 100 proof or 80 proof alcohol. So it's 50% water and 50% alcohol. So when it extracts those properties out of the mushroom, you're getting both the water soluble properties and the alcohol soluble properties, which make it a more balanced, perfect tincture. And even with mushrooms, I use fresh mushrooms when I make a tincture with any of the plants. Now, I don't know if you can make a tincture from dry mushrooms, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I use fresh mushrooms. That's just what I do. So the last tincture I made was an Amanita tincture. And the reason that I made that tincture was for pain. So something that mushroom is known for when used topically is for pain relief. So it's something that I wouldn't use on an ongoing basis or consistently. It would be in an emergency situation, but it's something, again, good to have on my apothecary shelf. And I used an Amanita mushroom on the thumbnail of this video because I came across a beautiful, beautiful patch of them. And I'm learning so much about them. There's so many benefits. I know everybody thinks it's just to get high, but in reality, it's really helping a lot of people with a lot of different mental health issues. They're working with PTSD, they're working with anxiety, they're working with all sorts of wonderful things. It's a very, very spiritual type of mushroom, but it's not something I would recommend you guys harvesting for your first go. There are, like I said, the turkey tail mushroom is a great example of something to start with. So I want to encourage you guys to get out there, find some mushrooms, do your research, and let's learn and grow together. And share down in the comment section. So if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Comments are always appreciated. And if you watched it this far, put a little guitar down in the comment section. It would warm my heart. Have a good day. Bye-bye.